Thanks for joining us today here on America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula, American Associates, with Baker and Scott Kirshner and myself. My name is Chris Swan. Really do appreciate you taking the time. This is the number 419-794-33. 419-794-3030. Always available online, americasretirementheadquarters.com. On today's show, we're going to make 10 of those so-called free online retirement calculators for a test drive. You feel uneducated when it comes to retirement planning. Let's see how you stack up against these 6 Social Security questions and whether or not you get them right. First, let me check in. Guys, glad to be with you as always. How are we doing today?
We are doing great. Just finished up our semi-annual economic update, so we appreciate nearly the 140 people who came live to the Hilton Garden Inns last night. We had an incredible crowd, had a great band, had people dancing, and I think it was the largest event that we've had since COVID, so it was good to get everybody back together. And, of course, we had a lot of people also viewing from our Facebook page. We were Facebook Live. So anybody who missed it, you can go check us out on Facebook. Again, go over to Facebook, type in America's Retirement Headquarters. Be sure to like our page, like the other thousands of people who do. And then if you scroll down, you'll see our event that we did last night. So, we dived really deep into the topics of Russia and what's happening. We, shared our thoughts and ideas with oil prices and gave insights regarding, the volatility that's happening in the market. And we also had some special guests where we gave some insights into specific strategies, sectors, different ideas. So, if you're a listener and you've been wondering about what direction to take with the market, we'd love to share our thoughts. And, Scott, I know you had a great presentation too, talking a little bit about the ultimate estate planning checklist and kind of wrapped up the night before we kicked off the band.
Yeah, they call me the closer, and I was the closer last night. It was a great show. We had a great turnout. The band was awesome. Really enjoyed the band. They actually played the part, man. They looked it. Although the one guitarist looked like, what was that guy's name from the Monkees? He actually has a birthday and turned 77 today. Yeah, Danny. He looked. It was pretty cool, but it was a great time. And the ultimate estate planning guy. We've talked about it before, but there's a lot of things that I shared, some of my life experiences. What I'm dealing with right now with mom and helping her kind of close out some accounts that they had with dad and changing some accounts from one name to another, and all of the headaches that I'm dealing with. I was able to share last night and give some good advice on how to protect that, when you do have that situation that comes up like that, to kind of be prepared for it before it happens. So it was good. I've already gotten a lot of requests for the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide to be sent out and mailed out, and it was a good time.
Yeah, so if you missed that event, you weren't able to get to it last night, again, we do have the replay available on our Facebook page. But also, if you'd like to come out and see us at our next upcoming event, again, just stop over to our website, americasretirementheadquarters.com. What you can do is go to the events page, and you can see here on our event page, we do have 2 upcoming classes that we're going to be teaching over at Bowling Green State University. The Perrysburg Levitt campus will be teaching Baby Boomer Basics. It's the retirement workshop on April 12th at 6 p.m., or you can come on April 13th at 6 p.m. So 2 more classes coming up, and we've always got great stuff going on here, Chris.
Yes, we do. So again, go to americasretirementheadquarters.com, click on the event page there, get more information about upcoming classes on the 12th and 13th of April. There's all kinds of stuff on the internet, including a host of free online calculators that supposedly give you a snapshot of your retirement savings and tell you whether your plan is on track. But here's the thing. Motley Fool took 2 of them out on a test drive, and the results varied drastically. One of them said they would have a $5 million savings shortfall, while another said they would have $19 million left in their 90s. That is a $24 million swing. That is a pretty sizable difference. Guys, what is the problem with these calculators? Are they including all the pertinent information?
Well, I think, a lot of the calculators, they look at a lot of different formulas, and I think, a lot of times there's a lot of scenarios that people don't take into consideration when looking at some of these outcomes. So as Motley Fool points out, when you have, the difference between you're going to run out of money or you're going to end up having, millions of dollars left over, that's a pretty big difference. And so it gets more difficult. It gets probably a little bit easier to do the calculations, I guess, as you're closer to retirement time. It's not to say that younger people shouldn't be planning, but the variances get quite a bit bigger. So one of the things that in today's show is we're going to make life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my 28 years of experience of the calculators and some of the tools and resources that we have available for you, our listeners and our viewers, that you can get access to kind of help cut through some of the chase and be able to figure out which ones can provide the most value for what you're looking to try to accomplish. One of the things I encourage you to do is always take an opportunity to stop by our website, americasretirementheadquarters.com. If you go over to our website, one of the things that you'll notice at the top here is we have this Clients tab. And if I click on the Clients tab, what we have done here is we've created this financial dashboard. And so if I scroll down within the financial dashboard, what we've tried to do is we've tried to put a wealth of information available here for people that are looking to start the discovery process. So, again, at the top left, you can see get started with financial planning, things like knowing your risk number, looking at your beneficiary forms. We've got research and planning, account access and monitoring, communication tools, and training and frequently asked questions. And also, when I was on the internet, I just did a quick Google search. And so one of the things here, if I look at Google, I type in the word free retirement calculators. There's 69 million results that come up. So it's no wonder that it could be very confusing for the average saver or investor to figure out which calculator is a good one to use for them. Now, you'll also notice if I look at the results here on Google, what you'll see is that many of these first couple of ones are what's called ads. So you see on the left-hand side there that says these are ads. So one thing that I would say is it kind of throws up a little bit of a red flag in some of those scenarios, because some of the calculators, although they're promoted as free, what they're looking to try to do is capture your information, ultimately to use that information to sell it to somebody to try to call you up to try to solicit your business. So, going to our
shopper
website,
beware.
so going to our website, we do use financial planning for clients that they are working with us. But we're today, again, going to share with you a couple of resources that are out there, what's available. Again, on our website, there are some things that you can take advantage of, different tools and resources. So what you'll notice is one of the things that's under tools and resources, MarketWatch has a retirement planning calculator. What you'll notice with this retirement planning calculator is, one, it's not looking to capture your information. You're able to go over here and kind of look at what your retirement income needs are, try to answer the questions of when can you retire, how much do I need for savings, what my net worth is, and be able to get some projections without having to share your information. So, again, if you're just looking to become educated, I think there are some tools that are out there. But it does point out, I think, in this article by Motley Fool, the fact that the free online calculators, they have such a variance. Some of the things and some of the challenges in the article that they pointed out was some didn't look for, what the current income needs were. Some didn't take into consideration how income needs could change at retirement time. Maybe if you're making $150,000, maybe in retirement time you'll have your house paid off, or maybe your kids won't have much of a monthly drain as what my kids do right now.
Yeah, exactly.
With college and high school and travel and hockey and everything else. So the assumptions, can change a lot of these outcomes. So what I want to do is I want to give you a couple of pointers if you're listening today. So the younger you are, the best advice I could give you is, number one, save. Start saving. So there's so many younger folks that are not contributing money to a company-sponsored retirement plan. First and foremost, if a company is going to match you some type of money, you want to make sure that you're investing that money to get the full company match. There's nothing better than free money, and that's what a company match is going to do. In addition to that, I think a good rule of thumb is to save 15% or more of your income. My wife and I, we try every year to kind of max out our income. You also want to kind of consider shifting between what is tax-deferred retirement accounts and also looking at building tax-free wealth. So the traditional wisdom that's been out there is save money in a tax-deferred vehicle, because when you retire, your tax rates will be lower. It's been my experience working with so many successful savers at retirement time that, they're out there doing the river cruises or seeing grandkids, they're traveling, they're playing golf. They're actually spending the same, if not more money than when they were working, because now they have more free time. So the expenses oftentimes don't go down for those people who are successful in saving, and so tax rates are not always lower in retirement time. The other thing is, if we look at the massive spending that our country's done for way too long and still going on right now, at some point you have to pay that credit card bill, right? That credit card bill is going to come due, and unfortunately, maybe we're putting that credit card bill on hold for 5 or 10 years, but at some point down the road, that credit card bill is going to have to get paid, and the only way the government can pay that bill is to collect higher taxes.
Right.
So higher taxes could also be an issue. So again, saving is a great idea, 15% or more. Maybe consider some money in tax deferred, some money in tax-free accounts. Then the next thing I think as an investor you want to take a look at when you're looking at some of the calculators is looking at the question is, am I investing with the correct, what I would call asset allocation or right investment approach? There's a difference on how things can affect the outcome probability of success. We've talked a little bit about it before in the past, and the software that we utilize is software called Riskalyze. And here we are logged into Riskalyze, and of course I just put some Joe and Janet retiree as an example in their scenario. Now at the top what it does is it says Joe and Janet answered the questionnaire, and the way that they answered the questionnaire is it says that they would feel comfortable having a risk score of 48. Why it's so important to utilize this calculator right now is because with the uncertainty that's going on in the market, some people are asking the question, should I go to cash? Should I be more defensive right now with my money and wait until things get better? So if we looked at Joe and Janet in using the retirement calculator in Riskalyze, in their example, they have $500 of investment savings. They're looking to retire in the year 2029. They want to withdraw $3,500 a month using inflation at 2%, and you can see all the statistical numbers that we put in there. What it shows is that they only have about a 2% probability of success for reaching their goals. So Joe and Janet, they have some choices, right? So one of the choices that they could do is using the calculator is they could choose to be a little bit more aggressive with their money. So if I take the sliding calculator over here, and what I do is, let's say we take their risk score to 70. So what you can see is it instantly changes the impact. It takes the 2% probability of success and it raises it up to 68% probability of success. Let's say that they went ahead and they started to add some more additional savings, and maybe both of them put money into like a Roth type savings account. So we can add those numbers in here and say they put $200 a month in. What we can see is it takes the probability up to 70%. If they put $1,000 a month away to max out some retirement savings, it'll again recalculate this stuff, giving them a 79% probability of success. So using these calculators, the reason I like this, what it helps investors do is it helps them target, what the risk score should be to be able to help accomplish their goals. So many of you maybe watched the show or listened a couple of months ago when I did an entire show, Scott and I dedicated on the topic of risk. Mm-hmm. And so one of the risk an investor makes is not investing their money to accomplish the outcomes of what they want to get done. So some of these calculators, what they'll ask you to do is they'll ask you to assume a rate of return. So you'll put in like, I expect to earn an 8% rate of return. The reason I like Riskalyze better is, as you can see, it's much more interactive to your unique situation, allowing you to identify what your comfort level of the risk is, and then allowing you to determine if that comfort level is going to be able to get you to where you need to be. And if not, what you can do is begin to, kind of shift that outcome to be able to help it a little bit more. Next, you want to take a look at how much of my income do I actually need to spend. So one of the ways that you can do that, and another calculator that I like is this calculator here is called Right Capital. So with Right Capital, what this software will allow us to do is it will allow you to go in and look at various scenarios. And so if you're running different scenarios, there's a lot of different reasons that your retirement goals may not be able to get accomplished. And so if we look at some of the reasons why, I think, here we go. There could be things like, well, what if inflation really went up? What if tax rates changed? What if Social Security failed? What if the different things happened? So over here on the retirement section, And again, just using an example, in this case, we call them Mr. and Mrs. Awesome. What we can see on the left-hand side over here, based upon the input of information, it started off with about a 41% probability of success. So this system and the calculations, it's running through a couple of thousand scenarios to determine the probability of success. Now, the nice thing about this one is in this calculator, I can come over here and I can also stress test the portfolios. And what we can see is we can see what are some of the biggest impacts that cause problems. So in this example, what you can see over here is inflation. If inflation gets out of control like it is,
Right.
and if inflation stays out of control, it really reduces their probability of success down to about 13%, based upon how the sequence of returns impacts things. Social Security, if they fail, has a pretty big impact. And in this example, healthcare cost. Now, the nice thing about that is, now that we know what some of the things are, it allows us to begin to identify some different scenarios and strategies that we can help address that. So in our example here, if we're looking at Mr. and Mrs. Awesome and healthcare cost, if healthcare costs really go up, it reduces their probability of success down to 29%. Now, Scott, I know that one of the areas that this is where it's such a good idea to have the comprehensive team where everybody's working together, because as we've talked about, if you look at the website, the healthcare.gov, you can go on there and we can run different calculations on that website too.
Exactly.
So within the website, what it allows us to do is it allows us to go in and type in information on where we live and get an idea as far as what the income levels would be. So if I go in here and I run a scenario that my retirement income is going to be $60,000, it'll tell me the different plans that are available here
Absolutely.
in my county.
Yep.
Then I can go and I can run another scenario that says, well, what if my income is only $40,000 that's countable? And then it will show me the price and plans there. So Scott, maybe why don't you talk a little bit about how you use the healthcare calculators kind of in helping retirees know their numbers and increase the odds of success with that plan?
Sure. So one of the things with this website, healthcare.gov, it takes into account what your reportable income is. So for example, if you have a husband and wife, and I met with a client just Monday night, and it was a husband and wife, and they're 56 and 57 years old. And I said, what is your income? The crazy thing with health insurance today is it really has nothing to do with your health. It's male, female, and smoker, non-smoker, and your zip code and county. And then how much money do you make? And that's what it's based on. It's not really based on, do you have any health conditions? Do you have anything, that is going to prevent a company from insuring you? Because that doesn't happen anymore. So what we were able to do is you put what you estimate your income to be. So in healthcare.gov, it is truly an estimated income. And as you can see here, we're putting in some age information. And then once you get this information in, the next page is your income. So if you put an income in, say $75,000, and it's going to estimate what your premium tax credit is. In this particular example, you've got $1,139 of a premium tax credit. The premium tax credit is money that the government is going to pay towards your premium to lower your monthly premium. And as you can see here, the first one that pops up, and we've got this sorted by the lowest premium. The first one comes up with a $221 in premium. And there are, if we go back to the top there, I believe there are 78 different plans available. 78 different plans available. So one of the things that I do, and I help you with, is I go through and I decipher these plans. For example, we'll look at whether or not your doctors are in a certain network. If they're in the ProMedica network, then we'll eliminate some of these plans. Medical Mutual doesn't cross over into the Paramount network. So I can eliminate and get rid of some of these plans and weed that down a little bit. The other thing that comes into play is your out-of-pocket expenses. We talked about it last night at the summit. The cost of healthcare has gone up so high, and the deductibles. The deductibles for a family. I mean, if you go back to that page where we have the coverages, the $220 plan there, the deductible I believe was $17,400.
Well, also in addition to that, the other thing too is if we look at the healthcare.gov website again. So if I go over here and I change the income,
Change the income.
say we change it to 120,000.
Yep.
So again, the first one was 75,000, and let's say that 75,000, these two individuals, both 62, male and female married, they both have an income goal of $10,000 a month. And
Sure.
maybe that seems high. Again, you can put whatever number you want in there,
Yep.
but they want to have a comfortable retirement. So both have a goal of 120,000. The first one was taking income from sources that are not considered countable.
Right.
So they may be taking it from non-retirement accounts. They could be taken from Roth IRAs. They could be taken from other vehicles that aren't countable. In this particular example, let's say that this person plugged in their $120,000 because they're taking all of their distributions from retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs.
Right.
What you can see here is that the premium tax credit is hundreds of dollars a month less.
Absolutely. At 75,000, it was 1139. At 120,000, it's 820. And you can see that first plan that popped up, you've got $17,400 out of pocket with a $540 premium. That same plan at $75,000 of income was $221. So it makes a big difference. Now, one of the important things, I want to take just a second here and explain something about this. We can sit here and estimate and play around with these numbers and come up with a premium that is acceptable to you. But the one thing that's very important to understand is this is an estimated income. So here's what happens. If you estimated $75,000 and you get $1,139 a month in premium tax credit, when you file your taxes at the end of the year, your income better be close to $75,000. So let's say that you file your taxes at the end of the year and it actually is $120,000. So instead of getting $1,139 from the government, you should have only gotten $820. Well, guess what you have to do with that difference? You've got to pay that back to the government. So at the end of the year, you could end up with a tax payment back to the government for the difference. Now let's go on the flip side. What I like to do is I like to estimate high. If I estimate at 120, you get $820 premium tax credit, and then you end up making 75, and instead of 820, you should have gotten 1139. Guess what? You get a tax refund. And who doesn't want to get that tax refund at the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. That does not hurt versus getting a tax surprise.
Yeah.
Never a good idea.
No doubt.
And, if you're listening today, maybe some of this is getting a little bit confusing when you're thinking about calculators. Again, there's, millions of different results that are on the internet. I think this is one of the areas, again, I'm biased, but it's one of the areas that working with a professional that puts
Absolutely.
these numbers in day in and day out is able to help you navigate through those channels to be able to figure out what are the different ideas to be able to take income. So when you're working on the calculator for your healthcare cost, or again, when you're looking at the calculator for your retirement, to know it is inflation that's a big issue, or it is maybe a stock market crash that's a big issue. Well, if you know that it's a stock market crash that could be a big issue, there's things that you as an investor can now do to make decisions to reduce or eliminate, say, a stock market crash. In our other example, when we looked at Riskalyze, the investor that maybe wanted to be more conservative, maybe it made him feel good right now with the uncertainty in the market. But what we can see is that short-term decision would have a long-term impact if they continue to stay that way. And oftentimes, people will wait till things get better, and so buying when things are better and selling when things are bad as a long-term painful process that significantly impacts the income. So a couple different tools and calculators. We, the retirement guys in our office and America's Medicare Associates, we're happy to work on these calculators for you and kind of get you up and running. We're also happy to share those with you. Again, if you want to take a look at the tools and resources that we have available for you, just browse on over to americasretirementheadquarters.com. Click on the Clients tab, and if you scroll down in the financial dashboard, you'll see all the different tools and resources. And if you're watching, if you have a tool or calculator that you really like, feel free to share it with us. We always love, and a lot of these tools and calculators and resources are things that we've found from our own years of experience. But getting started with developing your financial plan and running the calculators is as easy as just picking up the phone, giving us a call. Again, we're available to reach anytime. Happy to get you started on that journey if you're wanting to know what the outcome looks like for your plan and if there are a couple of easy steps to get you closer to your goals.
Yeah, when you looked at the when you brought up the healthcare.gov, there were 78 plans available to look through. That's a lot of different pages, a lot of different plans with all kinds of different scenarios. You can take the time to go through that, and at the end of the day, you'll be totally confused. Or you can reach out, give me a call. We can sit down. We can go through all of these plans. I can help eliminate a lot of the confusion right off the bat.
Again, the number to reach out is 419-794-3030. These online calculators, and what Nolan said, there's 69 million of them if you do a quick Google search, a myriad amount of them. It's a good way to get a kind of a snapshot of where you stand, but don't take that to be the letter of the land in the same way that you don't, well, you certainly shouldn't go to WebMD and automatically diagnose yourself based on what you get. You kind of take a look at that, get a general idea, and then go see a doctor. And hopefully the doctor is also not doing the same thing as not going to WebMD and said, oh yeah, no, you're definitely dying. You want to go to a professional at that point, and maybe what you found on the calculator is going to kind of align with what America's Retirement Headquarters finds out when they actually do the work more than just that quick calculation. Maybe there's going to be a little bit more work. It is better to know that, to defer to professionals. And that is as easy as, again, giving a call, 419-794-3030. Or since you're already online, go to americasretirementheadquarters.com. Social Security, another one of those things that causes a lot of confusion. There are hundreds upon hundreds of different ways of claiming, after all. Do Americans really understand how it works? There was a survey by Nationwide that asked them a series of questions, and here are some of the most popular ones that they got wrong. Guys, let's run through these and give a little clarification on what is and isn't true.
Yeah, so the article came up with number one, Social Security offers guaranteed income for life, and only 49% of people actually got that right. That is true. Number two is divorced people can still be eligible for Social Security spousal benefits. Just 47% of people answered that correctly. That is also true. Number three, Social Security benefits are tax-free. 45% gave the right answer. The answer to that is that's false. Mm-hmm. Number four, if you claim Social Security early, your partner's spousal benefit will be affected. And only 37% got that right because that is true. If you work for less than 35 years, you'll get a smaller benefit. Just 35% gave that accurate answer, and that is also true. Number six is Social Security isn't protected against inflation, and only 32% knew this, and that is false. That article, again, if you want to read it from Motley Fool, the retirement quiz, 10 details too many people get wrong about Social Security and Medicare. Good information to know. But costly mistakes, again, another calculated error that can happen, can be costly when it comes to planning for and calculating your retirement future.
Not one of those were 50% right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a scary thought that many people don't understand. But it can be very confusing. I mean, we see it every day. People come in and talk to us about it. And I actually had a situation when Dad passed away. We had Dad was getting a benefit, Mom was getting a benefit, and we got a letter from Social Security and said, Dad's benefit's going to change, Mom's going to go away. And, there's the spousal survivor benefits, which is not one of the questions, but I'm sure less than 50% would get that question right as well.
Again, these are things because there's so many different things to take into account when it comes to Social Security. When you're in the working world, you know that part of your check goes towards it, and that's probably most you think about it. Maybe you hope that it's going to be there when it comes time for you to claim, but it is important to know all these things as you approach Social Security age, when to claim, the right time to claim, how it's going to affect your spouse when it comes time for them to claim, and then taxation, all major factors. So all part of that retirement strategy, part of the retirement puzzle. And if you need clarification on it, if you want more information on it, America's Retirement Headquarters can help you with this as well. 419-794-3030. Education is the name of the game. It's what they pride themselves on. And what's the most educated state in America? According to a new study by website Wallet Hub, it is Massachusetts, followed by Maryland, Connecticut, Colorado, and Vermont. I checked. Ohio and Michigan fall right there, kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
The research took into account 18 metrics, including how much education people received, the quality of the schools. Retirement planning can make clients sometimes feel uneducated because they're embarrassed over their lack of knowledge. Again, the things they didn't think about in the working world. So what is the first step that you help them to get over this feeling of being uneducated?
Well, I think that's a great question. And, a lot of people, I think, sometimes feel intimidated to go in and meet with a financial advisor because they do feel uneducated. What I would tell you is, coming in and meeting with us and having a visit, really our first opportunity to sit down and just have a conversation. We realize that, retirement is a point in your life that you really only get one shot at it. You got to get it right. So you want to take some time to get to know what your goals and objectives are, talk about what's important to you, any challenges, things that are, working against you. Just have a conversation is really kind of what it begins with when getting knowledgeable about things. Then from there, it's developing an action plan and creating a plan to get you to be where you want to be able to have the lifestyle that you have and how you want to have in retirement time. If I was telling you the next step to take, that would be to go over to our website, again, americasretirementheadquarters.com. Click on the events tab because we do have the Baby Boomers Basic Retirement Workshop, which is coming up. You can choose April 12th. It's at 6 p.m. or April 13th, also at 6 p.m. Both events at Bowling Green State University. We'll be teaching that at the Levis Commons campus over in Perrysburg. But by getting knowledge, and I think one of the things that I found is a lot of people do like to come to the workshop type of events. Again, last night we had a real large audience in our economic summit because it's a good way to get educated without maybe necessarily feeling like you're in the lion's den, if you will. And, by then you're able to go in. If you have that meeting with a professional, now you have a series of questions and know what those questions are and what questions to ask. The other thing is if you're not following our YouTube channel, make sure you go over to YouTube because the How to Retire podcast series just has great topics, talk about markets, how to get prepared for all weather portfolios, so many wonderful things on our YouTube channel that each and every week we put just like this week, 30 minutes of quality content to help you become more educated and better prepared to not only survive but thrive in today's environment and your retirement.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, Nolan. A lot of people I deal with Medicare, they're so confused, and there are a plethora of different resources available to educate yourself on all of the different variables that come along with Medicare and actually health insurance and in retirement. And you owe it to yourself to at least sit down and listen and go through it without feeling embarrassed that you don't know something because it's ever changing and it's so confusing.
I've said it before, and I think it's certainly worth reiterating. There is power in being able to say, to be able to admit you don't know something.
Absolutely.
That is okay. I mean, no one is is an expert in everything out there. Jack of all trades, master of nothing, as the saying goes. But the next step is to go, how do I find out this information? Where do I learn? Don't be embarrassed by it. Again, America's Retirement Headquarters, over 75 years of combined, industry experience getting people to and through retirement. So if you have questions, that's a good place to start. AmericasRetirementHeadquarters.com or give a call, 419-794-3030. Don't be embarrassed. There's no dumb questions when it comes to retirement. The worst ones are the ones that you don't ask because those could be really detrimental to the overall quality of your life. 419-794-3030 and always online, AmericasRetirementHeadquarters.com. Hey, we appreciate you joining us today. We really do, taking time out of your day to spend with us. Hopefully you found this insightful. Don't forget, if you got more, if you need more information, go to the website, check out the YouTube videos. And guys, as we wrap up, want to leave you with the final word.
Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Got a couple good pointers on some calculations and know that we're ready to help you calculate the numbers. And, I just hope that retired life is the best part of your life. So thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful week. And just remember, when you think retirement, think the retirement guys here at America's Retirement Headquarters.